Here at West Bank, we're really excited to sponsor Real Success, a new CBJ series featuring Iowa City's own Nate Kaeding. 2018 marks West Bank's 125th year of helping business owners and entrepreneurs find their own versions of success, whether that be opening a new store, planning for retirement, or anything in between. Please enjoy this edition of Real Success, hosted by Nate Kaeding, and thanks for watching.
Well, cheers, Dave. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for the invitation.
You bet. Real Success here at the Corridor Business Journal. We're in the New Bohemian District here in Cedar Rapids, obviously right next door to the Iowa Startup Accelerator, which you're the managing director of. One of my favorite places in the corridor here at Caucho, an amazing place, hands down. I think the best margarita and taco in the area for sure.
It's hard to compete with it. That's definitely true.
Yeah. How do you stay out of here every day, man? Having this close by.
I mean, there's some construction. It's like a couple of barriers in the way, but
that's a good thing, right?
Other than that, yeah, no, we frequent this place quite a bit.
Yeah, Andy and Carrie do an amazing job here. It's fun. I'd be here about every day if it was down in the Iowa City area.
Yeah, the community's lucky to have them, right? They got Cobble Hill down the street and then Caucho. I actually joined a thing called CSP, Community Supported Pig.
Okay.
So Andy actually takes just a lot of just pork products and gives you like charcuterie in a bag like once a month. It's pretty legit.
That's awesome. That's cool. Well, today I want to talk a little bit about, on Real Success, we talk about sort of themes within success, what makes a successful business or a successful startup company. And obviously when you think of entrepreneurship and a startup business, one of the first things that come to mind is innovation. And it's interesting. Some friends and I kind of talk about what is an entrepreneur, what is innovation, and those names kind of get bantered about. Can you be a small business owner and not be an entrepreneur? Can you start a business and not be innovative? What do those words mean? Entrepreneurship and innovation sort of seem to go hand in hand. Over at the Iowa Startup Accelerator, in your work, how would you define entrepreneurship or innovation?
I mean, entrepreneurship to me it's about risk taking. So to answer your question on, there is to me a difference between a small business owner and an entrepreneur. Not always, but that appetite for risk is a big part of what it takes to be an entrepreneur, from what I've seen. So certainly the companies that we're investing in with the Iowa Startup Accelerator, these are big risk takers. People that are betting a lot on an idea, that idea has some merit and that it can scale, and that it can be a really big business someday. We're investing in high growth startups, and there's a lot of risk that's involved, and there's a lot of sacrifice that's involved to make a go of that. Types of businesses right now, when we invest in them, sometimes they're just an idea, just got a little bit of revenue, but we're looking at those companies being $10 million, $100 million businesses.
Sure.
So.
And there's a great 2013 Wall Street Journal article that I was passing around the other day with some friends, and the title of the article is "A Peanut Butter Pop-Tart and Innovation," and they're kind of making these differentiation between product iteration, product development, new methods, new ideas of sort of an existing business model versus like a Pop-Tart versus the iPod. Those sort of creations or inventions. I mean, in your mind, as businesses sort of iterate and make little tweaks or changes to the business model, are those little small improvements innovation, or is innovation this sort of eureka moment with a new idea or a new product that's developed and a game changer?
Yeah, a colleague of mine is just launched the Entrepreneur Academy, so it's all about innovation. She's actually the director of innovation for our company, and one of the things she asked on the assessment is, what's the one word that you think of when you think of innovation? When I completed that survey, my one word was just improvement. I mean, I think that you're looking at any sort of improvement that you're making, I think, qualifies as innovation. There's certainly disruptive innovation, right? You're really trying to change. The first iPod, that was disruptive. The way that we were getting music, the way that we use our phone today, those things were pretty disruptive, right, to markets. And then, and then looking at creating your own category, right? So a category that doesn't even exist today, and you're taking that idea and actually making that real. And then there's a whole bunch of businesses that can pop up around that.
Sure.
So there's definitely different degrees of innovation, and I would think that any significant improvement, whether it's to an existing product or creation of a new product, it qualifies.
Yeah. Is there sort of a shining example that's come out of the Iowa Startup Accelerator of a particular idea or business model or a business that's been really innovative, or it's created a new, like you said, a new kind of a whole new business market or class, or something that really stands out to you as an innovative company?
I mean, the one that just pops into my mind right now is Swine Tech. I mean, that's a couple of guys that came out of the University of Iowa, went through our program, and I mean, looking at a new, to me, very innovative way of saving a lot of loss in hog farms, right? I mean, we're talking about a $600 million problem that exists in the pork industry, and they're creating the technology that can actually help, hopefully, definitely reduce it, and hopefully someday eliminate it. Yeah. So, I mean, that's one that pops up for sure. I think that we definitely look for the ones that are trying to do, I think we focus a lot on disruptive change. I mean, people that are looking at like really big ideas.
Sure. I know with EntreFest, which is a very successful festival here in the corridor that you guys are working heavily on. There's a theme within that also. Not, entrepreneurship isn't just creating a new idea, a new business. It can also be applied, an innovative thought to an existing organization and ways to kind of to change and create new things within an existing organization. Talk a little bit about how the idea of innovation works for a company that's already existing and moving forward, or has been doing business like a bunch of companies have been in the corridor for decades, if not centuries. Talk a little bit about innovation for an entrepreneurship within existing companies.
Yeah. So I mean, it's interesting because we just launched at Cedar Ridge. Cedar Ridge was the kickoff location for this Entrepreneur Academy. Mm-hmm. So it's a year-long program, and you've got these established teams, and most of them, I mean, I think they're all doing fantastic in their own right. And then, for me, I mean, the main thing I would tell you is the mindset, right? Making sure that you've got people that are willing to think about new ideas, not willing to settle for the status quo. Mm-hmm. That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different parts to it. So this Entrepreneur Academy actually walks them through. There's a theme each quarter, and there's focusing on agile as a process, focusing on methods, like what are some of the methods and tools that you can implement in your organization to make this process easier. But the key to it is it's mindset, right? So I mean, if you're willing to accept that something can be better, and you should always, everything can be better, right? I mean, nothing's perfect. Mm-hmm. Even the products that are selling off the shelves, there's opportunity there. And if you're willing to look at it and then evaluate it, right? I mean, that opportunity might cost way too much money to create, but to be able to have a method and a process so that people can see, hey, I had this idea, nobody actually took action on it. Why is that?
Yeah.
So you've got all this data that says, hey, not enough people will actually want it.
Sure.
So even though it's a great idea, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to build it.
Right. For listeners or people that might watch this, how would you describe or define the entrepreneurial mindset in the most succinct, simple way you could do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, open to new ideas, willing to think deeply about a subject. I mean, honestly, listening, you can't really miss that part. Mm-hmm. I think that just really listening and processing and hearing the opportunity, challenging. I mean, there's a lot of different parts to it, but a lot of times, too, with an entrepreneur, it's just starting. Just getting started and then knowing where the resources are. So I think there's folks like me all over the planet, but our job is to identify entrepreneurs, figure out what they need, and then deliver that resource when they need it. So I think it's a lot about self-starting.
Sure. Okay, cool. Well, we end all of our interviews with some rapid-fire questions here.
These are fun.
Which are a lot of fun. You get to do some mental gymnastics here, but if given the chance, what profession other than your own would you most like to attempt? And you get to see all sorts of different industries and professions, so I'm curious about this one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, man. It's hard for me to pick one, but honestly, there's two that jump out. Maybe they seem off the wall, but I think it would be interesting to actually try to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. Fifth grade teacher, I think, is where I would try to land.
That's God's work right there. That's amazing.
Yeah, but it's so worthwhile. I've got two boys. I've got a 6th grader now and a 9th grader. I just think interacting with young people it's just a blessing. I really enjoy it. And then, if I actually did have summers off, I understand teachers don't actually have summers off.
Right.
It's fallacy, but if they actually get summers off, I would love to try to be a fisherman.
That's good. Who's your favorite business leader of all time, or maybe someone that's been the most influential that you studied?
Yeah, I feel like everybody answers that question. I mean, a lot of people probably answer that question like an Elon Musk. It's hard not to look at a person like that when you're in tech as a superhero. But like around here, I mean, honestly, one of the people that you interviewed, Randy Ramlaw, I've had the ability to interact with him for the last few years, and I just love what he's doing with United Fire Group. I really do. I see people that work there. I just genuinely like the work that they're doing. I love what they're doing in Cedar Rapids. Dwayne Smith is another one that comes to mind.
Absolutely.
Interacting with him at True North and just the way he's built in, that whole company is built in succession planning, is something so many companies get wrong.
Yeah. Just one sentence, how do you define success?
Yeah, for me right now, it's like I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of joy. Mm-hmm. So this quest for joy. I think success for me is not only that pursuit of joy for yourself, but for everybody around you. I think that I see the work that we're doing as an opportunity to expose people to what brings them joy, and then helping them figure out ways to find it. So it seems like it's more than a sentence, but to me, like, probably define success by like that quest for joy, not just for yourself, but in others as well. Yeah.
Very cool. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it. Keep up the great work.
That was easy.